Good morning. When I have a one-on-one with someone, they typically say, Brad, what is it that you actually do? Well, I'm a writer and editor. Yeah, but what do you do? And then they interrupt themselves and say, why do you do this stuff? I end up with a lot of explaining to do. I have much to explain in my life. Shan't go over it here. But you see, on the second page of this handout I've given you, some factual information about me, but also some why. When I say I'm addicted to English, I'm not joking. I shoot up every morning. I pop a few pills later in the day. English is where I live. I do not know how to separate my vocation from my avocation. My vocation, I write for you and other business people like you. My avocation, I write fiction and occasionally sell it. I got deeply hooked a long time ago. Studied at university a number of different disciplines, from the hard sciences through the social sciences to the arts, and really never finished anything. A few degrees along the way. But what I discovered as I studied each discipline is that I wasn't interested in doing it. I discovered in the archaeology department that you had to use shovels. Didn't like that. Dirt, ooh. What I was interested in was the theory. What I was interested in is the why. Why I do English is that I love excellence in language, and I love what excellence in language implies. Who are you when you go to work? Who are you when you talk to a client? We heard a lesson from Jerry this morning about first impressions. I'm very glad there are second impressions, or I'd be an utter failure. We all make first impressions and second and 100th impressions when we go about in the business world. What are yours? You can see on the third page of my handout, in those little tiny boxes, slanted a third of the way down, two utterly brilliant examples of two businesses representing themselves to the world. A bookkeeping firm that couldn't spell bookkeeping. My rule, if you cannot spell what you do, you cannot do it for me. Likewise, someone much closer to my racket and Kim's, a one-person public relations firm that offers to write press releases and couldn't spell releases. I work as a writer and editor, and many people think that being an editor means I'll fix your spelling. I will, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
But if you hire me just to fix your spelling, I'm awfully expensive. And if you call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I will charge extra. It's more than just spelling it right. Your representation of self in brochures, in blogs, in the sign above your door, in the manner in which your receptionist answers the phone, the way that your employees speak to a customer when they ring their front doorbell. All of that is your business. Eric, you always look good. Shelley, you always look great when you show up somewhere. But that's you. What are your other people doing? An editor and a writer is not just a person who fixes mistakes. An editor and a writer is a person who can create new opportunities for you by delivering business text that works and presents you and your business in the most polished, professional way, and in the tone you want. Mike Geller, you're about popcorn, and that's fun stuff, and you want an aura of fun about what you do. Mark, you got a serious business involving people's whole financial lives. Maybe less fun, more serious for you? It's partly about tone, it's partly about message, it's partly about the moral sensibility of your business. And my job is to help you however I can. Few ask. You call up Drew when you got bugs. But most people don't know they got bugs in their English. I like to serve people, and I like to know people's hearts. I'm a pretty good talker, but I'm also, believe it or not, a good listener. And I'd love some time to listen to any of you about your needs, your clients' needs. Doesn't have to cost anything. We'll just talk, and we can learn a lot from one another. That's what I came to say. That's my why, and I hope it connects with your why. I'm open to questions. Mark.
Give us some good examples of some of your existing clients so we can kind of make them with what we're looking for.
Certainly. For one client, I write, edit, rewrite her blogs and text for her newsletters, and text also for the boxes in which her cosmetic products come. All of that. I have a client in this room who tomorrow will have 5 new taglines that client could use in this room. Recently, I was hired by a BNIer outside of this room to write 3 words. The name of a new venture she is launching. There's a person in this room for whom I am editing a book. Thank you, Jake. A really interesting book. And that labor is one that takes days and days and lots of midnight oil. If it's anything to do with text, written or spoken, that's what I do, Mark. Others?
How long would it take to write my book?
If you got if you got more money than I think you do, I could have it ready Tuesday. But to take that question seriously, how long would it take to edit a book? Would be a matter usually of hundreds of dollars or in the low 4 digits. To write one, number of thousands of dollars. Others? Lynn.
You've had 2 published novels. Are you working on a sequel?
I am working on a sequel. My 2 published novels are Ruby Ruby and Thorazine Beach, both tales about an aging detective in Memphis. Rather large detective. There are some echoes of me, perhaps. And I'm working on the sequel, which is called 6 Flags Over Jesus, about financial mayhem and murder in a rather large chapel in Memphis. And there's a new science fiction novel in the works as well. Ruby Ruby, Thorazine Beach, buy them, read them. Pat?
One of the things that a lot of people would like to do is have more stuff on social media that is
Yes.
actually beneficial to them.
Yes.
Do you write things for that and post for it?
I write things for that. You post. I do text. When it comes to issues of design, I'm going to send that over to Kim Garman-Hummel. For example, she will get a referral shortly from me for a book cover. I can do a real simple book cover, but I want the book I'm thinking of to have a much better one. It's going to Kim. And I'm dreadful at social media. I'm really good at text for social media. For a particular mountain climber who was on Everest, I wrote his daily tweets while he was in that project. So yeah, I'll write text for social media, you post. Yeah. One for the road. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, ma'am. What?
I was going to ask you, how did you come up with your original idea for your book? What entered into your mind that allowed you to write that book?
All the time when I'm writing or editing, I'm looking at surroundings and describing them in my head. All the time when I write or edit, I need background noise, which is why I write and edit in restaurants and cafes. And those noises and those sights infuse all my writing, whether it's a novel or whether it's the text for your blog or the text for the box of the product you're going to sell. Those voices go on. And yes, Drew, or Troy, there are voices in my head. Thank you so much for listening.